Have you ever looked around at the people in your life and thought, why does this keep happening to me? You leave one toxic friendship, and somehow another one shows up. You end a draining relationship, and the next person feels exactly the same. You get out of a toxic workplace and walk straight into another one. It's not bad luck. It's not coincidence. There is a reason you keep attracting the same kind of people. And today, I'm going to show you exactly why, and more importantly, how to stop Italiano. Stay with me, because what I'm about to share might be the most important thing you hear this year. Before we dive in, if you're new here, welcome. Hit that subscribe button and the notification bell, because every week we break down psychology, relationships, and self-growth in a way that actually makes sense. Now let's talk about something most people are too afraid to admit. You are not a victim of toxic people. You are unknowingly inviting them in. But here's the good news. Once you understand WHY, you can change everything. We're gonna cover the deep psychological reason toxic people are drawn to you. For real-life examples that will make you say, that's literally me. The exact mindset shifts you need to break the pattern. Here's the truth no one tells you. Toxic people are not random. They are skilled, almost like predators, at sniffing out specific traits in people. And those traits, they're actually good traits. Empathy, kindness, a desire to fix things, loyalty, patience. But when those traits don't have boundaries attached to them, they become a target. Reason number one, you have a fear of abandonment. When you're terrified of people leaving, you tolerate bad behavior to keep them close. Toxic people sense this fear instantly, and they use it. Example number one, Sarah and the manipulative boyfriend. Sarah grew up in a home where her father would leave for weeks without warning. As an adult, she stayed in a relationship with a man who cheated on her 3 times. Because every time she tried to leave, he would cry and threaten to hurt himself. She didn't stay because she was weak. She stayed because her childhood trauma made abandonment feel unbearable. The toxic person in her life didn't create this fear. He simply found it and exploited it. Reason number two, you were taught to put others first. Were you raised to always be the good one? To not cause trouble? To keep the peace at all costs? If yes, you probably learned to suppress your own needs to make others comfortable. And that is GOLD to a toxic person. Because a person who never says no, never pushes back, and always accommodates. That's the perfect host for someone who only takes. Example number two, Marcus and the energy-draining friend. Marcus was the reliable one in his friend group, always available. Never complained. His friend Jake would call him at 2 a.m. with problems, borrow money and never repay it, and cancel plans constantly. But if Marcus ever needed support, Jake was suddenly too busy. Marcus didn't realize that his upbringing, where his emotions were dismissed as not a big deal, it trained him to believe his needs didn't matter. That belief attracted someone who agreed with it. Reason number three, you confuse intensity for connection. Here's a big one. Many people who attract toxic relationships grew up in chaotic or emotionally intense homes. Raised voices felt like passion. Walking on eggshells felt like love. Drama felt normal. So as an adult, when someone comes along who is calm, consistent, and emotionally available, it feels boring. But when someone is unpredictable, hot and cold, magnetic, and then cold again, it feels like a spark. It's not chemistry, it's a trauma response. Example number three, Priya and the hot and cold partner. Priya had dated 3 different people in a row who were all emotionally unavailable. Her therapist pointed out a pattern. Every good guy she met felt boring to her within weeks, but the men who ignored her texts and then showed up with grand gestures made her feel alive. Why? Because her nervous system had been wired in childhood to associate love with uncertainty and relief. The anxiety of not knowing where she stood felt familiar. It felt like home. And home, for her, happened to be toxic. Reason number 4, you don't know your own worth. This might be the hardest one to hear, but stay with me. When you don't genuinely believe you deserve consistent love, stable friendships, or respectful coworkers, you unconsciously accept less. You make excuses for bad behavior. They're just stressed. They had a hard childhood. I probably overreacted. Meanwhile, a person with healthy self-worth would have walked away at the first red flag. Example number 4. James and the toxic workplace. James had just left a job where his boss took credit for his work, yelled at him in meetings, and paid him below market value for 4 years. His friends asked why he stayed so long. His honest answer: "I didn't think I'd get anything better." He had internalized a story about himself, that he wasn't talented enough, experienced enough, or valuable enough to demand more. That belief didn't just affect his job. It affected every relationship in his life. When you believe you're not enough, the world sends you people who agree. Section 4. A mid-video, 7 a las 7:30. Las 8. Engagement plus algorithm boost. Real quick, if this video is hitting home, do me a favor and drop a comment below. Tell me, which of these 4 reasons resonates with you the most? Type the number 1, 2, 3, or 4. Reading every single comment. And if this is helping you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Section 5. The solution, 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock. How to stop attracting toxic people. Okay, so now that we know why this happens, how do we stop it? Here's the shift. You don't need to become harder. You don't need to stop being empathetic or kind or loyal. Those are your superpowers. What you need is to add boundaries to those superpowers. Step 1, know your patterns. Look back at the toxic relationships in your life. What did they have in common? Usually, you had the same belief running underneath all of them. Step 2, heal what's underneath. Fear of abandonment, people-pleasing, confusing chaos for love. These don't disappear by willpower alone. Therapy, journaling, self-work, community. This is the real work. Step 3, raise your standards out loud. Stop tolerating what you're willing to walk away from. The moment someone crosses a line, name it. Healthy people will respect it. Toxic people will reveal themselves. Step 4, learn to love the boring. Stability is not boring. Consistency is not boring. Someone who shows up the same way every single day, that is love. Retrain your nervous system to feel safe with peace. Section 6. Conclusion, 10 o'clock to 10:45. Wrap up plus emotional close. Here's what I want you to take away from this. You are not broken. You are not cursed. And you are absolutely not the problem. But you may have been carrying old wounds that made you magnetic to people who needed a host, not a partner, not a friend. The moment you start doing the inner work, healing that fear, rebuilding your worth, learning to say no, the entire energy around you shifts. Toxic people stop finding you interesting. And the right people, they start showing up. You deserve relationships that feel like rest, not ones that feel like work. Section 7. Final CTA, 10:45 to 11 o'clock. Call to action, end screen. If this video gave you something to think about, subscribe and turn on notifications. Every week, new content about psychology, relationships, and building a life you actually love. And while you're here, watch this video next. I break down the 5 signs you have unhealed childhood trauma affecting your relationships today. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. I'll see you there. Take care of yourself. You deserve it.